Are you recording this?
Yeah.
Oh, great. I hate that.
Welcome. Today is Thursday, January 16th, 2025.
This is Brindley Manley
And Shauna Stoller. We are here to visit with Mrs. Claudia Elliott about her experience as a student at Grover Hill. Thanks for coming in. Okay.
Welcome.
What years were you at Grover Hill?
I was at Grover Hill from 57, and I graduated in 69. Then I went to college for 4 years, and then I was a teacher for 35 years, and then I subbed for 13 years. I have been at Grover Hill 60 years. Isn't that terrible? I guess I like it here.
Was it Grover Hill High School or is it just Grover Hill Elementary or both?
It was both grades. We only had grades 1 through 12, no kindergarten.
Did you have any preschool?
No preschool.
Who was the principal at the time?
Well, the principal that I remembered was Roger Goddard, or Doyle Goddard, excuse me. Roger was a son, and he was what at that time was Paulding County superintendent.
Could you tell us about the school building and the playground?
Sure. I did bring some books. I'll start with the playground. We just had a slide, swings, and merry-go-round. And we did have at least 2 ball fields. But the older grades, we mostly played kickball. And we would be boys against girls, or one grade against another grade.
What was the school building like?
We had all 12 grades together, and there was a music room, but that was only for high school, and the gym also was only for high school. So if they had outdoor recess, we had that in the room, and we did have games, but mostly I just think we did other things like write or schoolwork.
Okay. What were your 3 favorite memories from your school day?
I guess one of my favorite ones that I was thinking about was we read a book about goats. So this might have been in 3rd grade or 4th. And the goat ate everything. And we got to write our own stories about a goat and what they ate and what happened. I know, weird, right?
Could you tell us 2 more?
Let's see. I remember getting hurt. That wasn't exactly pleasant. I guess one thing that I thought, this is how I remember it, and I did ask 2 friends of mine. We didn't have a teacher at recess. We just went out, and I don't know if they blew a whistle or something, and then we lined up and came in. But if there was a problem or somebody got hurt, then they went and got a teacher. But I mean, maybe they were there, but I don't remember that.
So whenever you went in to go back in for recess, were the doors unlocked?
Yeah, the doors were always unlocked. They were never locked.
How did you typically get to school?
I walked, and if it was really raining or cold, because I lived in the house right beside the marathon station. So it wasn't that far. But I walked, or my mom would take me if it was really cold, or I had a lot of stuff to take to school.
What was your favorite or a typical lunch that you had?
One thing that I do remember is we had no prepared lunches. Like we had potato soup and chili, and we had fried chicken. We didn't have like chicken nugget or chicken strips, or we didn't have pizza, or we had tomato soup with toasted cheese. We had vegetables. We had our fruit. Usually it was Jell-O with some fruit in it, but I don't. And of course milk. And at that time, it seems like nobody had allergies or issues because everybody had milk. But you could have chocolate or white. And that was it.
Strawberry?
No strawberry. That came later, I guess.
Did you guys bring water bottles this fall?
Nope.
No.
We had drinking fountains, and we'd have restroom breaks. And another thing that I thought was very odd, thinking back, we didn't have doors on the bathroom stalls.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah. The teacher had one at the end. It had a door, but ours did not have a door. And I can remember as a kid, I didn't like that. And usually a friend stood in front.
I would not
What
want
was your favorite subject in school?
Well, I've thought about that and thought about that. And the only thing I could come up with was maybe reading, because we didn't have a library for elementary kids. And the teacher had some books, but we had, it seems like it was every month or maybe every quarter we got from Scholastic a pamphlet, and it had books that you could order and pay for, and they were not expensive. I mean, maybe at that time they were. But I can remember my mom always let me pick books, and I was an avid reader. I did like writing, and I brought a couple books so you can see. We actually, this is from grade 3, grade 2, and this was actually, we had a grade for writing. Can you believe that?
Oh, wow.
If you want to show your books.
And in the beginning of 2nd grade, we did printing, but you can see I got an A, and that's probably why I liked it. And then in the second half, we did learn cursive, and then we did cursive here, and you can see that she corrected. But I was never a good artist, and so I think I liked writing. Can you imagine getting a writing grade?
So many kids would not do good. I wouldn't do very good.
But I have to admit, I think that, and I know we do here, everybody should learn cursive, because I did go to UPS to mail a package to my daughter, and I wrote her address out, and of course in cursive. And because I was a teacher, I formed all my letters correctly. And she looked at it and she said, I can't read this. And I thought, what? I mean, her name was Gina Bishop. The B is not that much different. I just thought, really? Things have changed.
Do you still visit with your friends from your school days?
I do, and I think that has been one of the true blessings of growing up in a small school. We only had one per grade, and it just seemed like everybody knew everybody, and I have to admit, one of my greatest accomplishments is that I kept my very first friend. We're still really close.
That's cool.
It is cool. And I have others, and we get together usually at Christmas. So,
What is one thing you remember doing on the playground?
mostly kickball. I do remember older, we played baseball, and we used real bats and real baseballs and real gloves.
So did you guys bring your own gloves, or was there just a bunch
Yeah,
of...
if you had a glove, you brought it, but they did have the bats and balls. But, and that was really before girls played sports.
What are some different things about our school from what you remember?
Well, of course, we didn't have computers. We didn't have whiteboards. We didn't have phones. There was only a phone in the office. And the teacher wrote on a chalkboard. And I brought books. You know, we had workbooks. And school was easier. So I just wanted, you know, because I've subbed, you know, in other grades. I mean, this was 4th grade. And you probably can see that this one was probably
Young.
1st or 2nd even.
This
I don't know
was
if it
4th
says on the
grade.
back. I'd say maybe 1st, but you can tell that things were easier. Here's a 3rd grade one. And I was shocked that my mother kept these.
Yeah.
But, you know, here's
This
3rd,
was
but look,
1st grade.
you know, we didn't do multiplication until 4th grade, and it was like division.
Oh, I see that there's like, they didn't have any signs. They just had the numbers.
Yeah, whoa, that is different.
It's like the
But they would
directions.
say multiply, so I guess we did do some multiplying in 3rd grade. But I do think things were easier.
This
And
was
here's
3rd
a
grade.
language book.
Wow, I see you guys did a lot of cursive.
We did a lot of workbooks. So this would be a reading one. We would read this, and I think it was like reading social studies type thing. But just to give you an idea, of course, we probably didn't get through all of it, as you see. Maybe that's why my mom kept it. She thought I would work on it this summer.
This was reading.
And I couldn't,
I love that book.
We have
Yes.
some of those in the library.
well, I had to buy this because I couldn't find, but this was our very first reader.
I love Dick and Jane. My mom used to read them when I was a kid.
I mean, look how easy it was.
They're kind of like the, what is it called? Like the biscuit puffy
Yes,
thing?
this
Yeah. It was very easy, because look, on 148, it was still, oh, mother, C-Spot, that was the dog. But I didn't know if you had seen this, but if you remember when you was in 1st grade, you know, this was a lot for us,
Yeah.
but that would be not for you guys. I think things are a lot harder. But I thought you might be interested. And I did bring my yearbook. All our desks, and I bought this when they got rid of them, were like this. And I keep this in my house, as you can see. And this flipped up so that when we had to walk between. And that's what happened when I got hurt. I got up to sharpen my pencil, I think. And when I came back, I had the pencil in my mouth. And I thought the Z was down, and it was up. Somebody put it up, and I tore the roof of my mouth with my pencil because I didn't have an eraser on it. But that's a desk, and you can see it in all these. And we also, I guess
That's
because
the
it's so different, we had to wear long skirts, and a lot of things were bobby socks.
So you guys had a
Or
uniform?
dresses, yes. Even the cheerleaders' dresses were short. And the boys had real short basketball uniforms. But, you know, the headshots is what you see. And so I will show you. This was our seniors. I'll show you a picture of me. Oh, must be this way.
Did you guys do autographs? Like you signed the yearbook?
We did, but because I was so young, that we didn't do till probably junior high or high school. But this is me.
Oh, you were such a cute baby. I love your curly hair.
And if you notice, most girls had short hair,
And
which is
wigs.
really different today. Which, or curled, or, yeah? And this was a little later, but you can see, I can remember when I was in high school, that was in the 60s when the miniskirt came about. And even the majorettes, look how long things were. And anyway, if your skirt, you had to get on your knees if somebody complained, but usually they didn't. But then your skirt had to touch the ground. But because it was the 60s and we still had to wear skirts, we kind of rebelled and we would roll up the waistband so it was shorter. What a rebellious group we were. But, and you can, of course, and everything was black and white, but see, this is still those same desks, but when they got rid of them, they had them on sale, and I wanted a set. As you can see, they were on runners. And another thing, which was odd, in our high school, the floors were wooden, and they oiled them, which I look back and think, what a fire hazard, right? And it would ruin our shoes because of the oil. But that was high school. You know, when you was, I forgot about the lunch. One of the things that I thought was, when I was thinking about lunch, and we did have fish on Fridays, and I think every Friday, because we had a small Catholic population, and at that time, they did not eat meat, and we didn't have pizza, you know, we didn't have taco in a bag, we didn't have any of that. It was your typical old-fashioned meals. We maybe had chicken and noodles, or...
So is this like what, is it like just all Christian church? Like?
Well, you know, I think it went back to the Constitution, we're one country under God, because I do remember before lunch, we all went to the restroom and were to wash our hands, and we prayed before lunch. And it was something simple, you know, bless this food or something like that, but, and nobody objected.
What was the dress code for staff and students when you were a student?
Well, which is what I told you. We had to wear skirts or dresses, and most kids wore what we call bobby socks, which were the short socks. And as you saw, do you remember hearing about saddle shoes, the white with black? So I think there you might be able to see some of that. But the men teachers and the principal all had to wear shirts and ties. I should go back to this one.
Did your socks have like little laces around
No.
them? Or no?
If you had those, you wore them to church, or it was like an Easter thing. But here you can see a lot of like what they called saddle shoes. They were white, and I can remember my mom would polish them. I don't know, does anybody polish shoes anymore?
I don't know, but
And there, we didn't, especially girls, we didn't have athletic shoes, tennis shoes. It was, in the summer we had sandals, but we could not wear them to school. We had school shoes. Does that?
Could you wear whatever you wanted on picture day?
It was still, everybody wore a dress or a sweater and skirt, even up through high school, and that was 1969. That's what we wore for pictures, and usually it was a nicer dress, but when school started, you know, one thing I remember too is, now this is just my family. My mom, we went to Toledo, and she would buy me 5 dresses and a sweater. And so when it was really, they were just, you know, like cotton light dresses. So then in the winter, I wore a sweater over it, and probably the same sweater all week. But I had 5 dresses. I never did the, this is Monday dress, Tuesday, and but my aunts, because I was the youngest, would often make me a dress, and I had that too. And then I had a separate dress for church or special occasions, weddings. But I also, when you were talking about dress code, the female teachers all wore heels.
Oh, that's terrible.
And the younger ones wore the thin ones that we call spike. And and the older teacher wore the more clunky heels. But all the teachers wore heels. And the men wore shirts and ties, and sometimes a suit jacket. I remember when we were older, we used to make fun of one teacher because he wore the same green sweater over his shirt and tie every single day.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us, like any memories, anything?
One of the things I remember which is different was my mom and dad both worked, and my grandmother watched me after school if they weren't home, and I got sick, and my grandmother didn't drive, and my grandfather was not home, and my older cousin in high school walked me home.
So did she get out of school?
It was he.
Oh, wow.
And I asked him once, I said, do you remember that? And he kind of smiled and said, yeah, I do. I said, I'm so sorry if that was an embarrassment. And he said, I was glad to get out of school. Because it was, I'm trying to think, maybe 3 or 4 blocks, but it wasn't far. But because I was sick, everybody had a job, so they got, because they knew everybody. They knew families. They knew that this was my first cousin, my mom's sister, and he walked me home. Isn't that odd?
Yeah. I feel like nowadays they just call us. They just keep calling until they get someone.
Yeah, could you imagine that? You get sick and they make your brother walk or take you home? Or one of your sisters or brothers, right? Yeah.
Well, that was very interesting to hear about your experiences. Thanks again for coming in.
That was my pleasure. It was nice to talk to my friends and think of the memories. Thank you. Do you, I don't know if you share this,